My name's Micheal. I've had Parkinson's for 10 years now. I was first diagnosed 48, a young 48, fit as a fiddle. Well, I thought fit as a fiddle. I used to do a lot of running, cycling, football. I put it down to a trapped nerve in my arm because I was getting a tremor. I was momentarily losing my balance, which I didn't think anything of at the time. And then I spoke to my wife about it, who had noticed. And I phoned, she got us to phone 111, the NHS helpline. I spoke to a lady on there because I was saying, there's no way am I going to go to the doctors. I'm fine, nothing the matter, thinking everything was fine, but I eventually did go. And he, after a few tests, they diagnosed Parkinson's disease. I felt it was an old person's disease. I was quite shocked about it. And I come out the doctor thinking, God, what am I going to do from now on? Do I tell work? Does me work end here, or how am I going to manage? I've got a family and my wife and 2 daughters to look after. How am I going to cope? You know, there's 100 things run through my head. I was just, I'm glad I did have Margaret there, who was an experienced care worker who helped us through it, as did my daughters. I was adamant I was going to beat this. There was no way I was going to go on medication. That's the way I felt at the start. But unfortunately, as a year passed, I had to start taking medication because things started going downhill rapidly on my behalf. Well, my concerns in my work environment were the extraction system wasn't as up to date as what it could have been. And the chemicals they were using, I've always blamed formaldehyde and phenol having a neurological effect on people. Now, I was standing next to ovens where there was fumes getting belched out 24 hours a day, where I was there 12 hours standing right next to them. It's a thing that's got to be proven. Unfortunately, nobody can prove what causes Parkinson's. I just hope and pray that it's not hereditary, because I've got a lovely young family there where hopefully they won't suffer how I'm suffering. Everything was fine the first year, but then you start fiddling with buttons, trying to put your pants on, tie your shoes. You don't realise, you know, when you do it day to day, you don't realise how easy it is until you do start struggling. And then you think, oh my God, how am I going to cope in, say, 10 years' time and look at it that way? Which I do struggle now, and I'm glad I have got the support of my wife and family, who've been absolutely brilliant. I can't thank them enough for what they've done for me. It's me walking, me gait, me tremor is fine. My upper body is as good as it can be, or what it's expected to be in having Parkinson's, but it's me legs. I shuffle, I lose my balance every now and again, and on my off period, I've just got to sit around and wait for the tablets to kick in, which is, it does get you when you want to be up and about. I mean, it's a burden to my wife and my family, but they understand. I think one of the hardest things I felt as well was having my grandchildren, where they'd come up, arms in the air, wanting to be picked up, and you can't do it when you're off periods. You can't do it. And that did get to us. Well, it still does. Obviously, my grandsons are only 1 year old. So I think that's the main changes that hit you hard. The sleep pattern's outrageous. You get yourself comfortable, you go to bed, and then you wake up. And the best way to describe it is, it's like being wrapped in cling film when you wake up. You cannot move your body, and it is a struggle to pull yourself around and get down the stairs and get seated comfortable, because I'm so uncomfortable in bed, it's unreal. but it's part and parcel of Parkinson's. You've just got to put up with it. The support I've had from the team down at Rake Lane under Mr. Richard Walker has been very good. The net hands there, who's done a lot for us. I know in any hand, I just pick up the phone and they're there for us whenever I need them. So they're second to none down there, really good. The medication I take at the minute is pramipexole and slow release levodopa. So in total I take about 20 tablets per day, which is very high dosage, which I think the team started to get concerned about because that was very high. My body was becoming immune to them. It was then decided that I'd have deep brain stimulation, DBS. Leading up to the operation, I had to do tests, mainly walking, finger tapping, things like that, which is normal in the Parkinson's clinic. Then I had to sit down in front of a psychiatrist who had to make sure that I wasn't depressed, that I was in a good frame of mind, and I had to sit through little tests like he would read out so many words and then he'd ask us about them, say 3/4 of an hour later, and I had to give them back in the same sentence of what I read or what he pointed out. I got through that, and then the operation itself takes about 4 to 5 hours, where you have a cage put on your head, you're put to sleep. With some cases you're put to sleep, some cases you're awake, depending on the surgeon himself. There's 2 leads inserted in either side of your brain, which run down the back of your neck into the stimulator box, and then the settings, once it's switched on, you take the settings from there, which can be increased or decreased depending on how your body takes to the voltage and what have you. I did have problems with mine. I was on a very high voltage rate on the right side, being 4.0. That was too high, which has now been reduced to 3. My left side is 3.5, and this will hopefully lead to where I can get a better walking, and my gait will be given a boost. After the first few days, I felt great coming out the op. I thought, oh, this is it. But then I started getting complications. It was decided I would go back in the RVI, spend the night in hospital where I wake up, where there's no medication taken. They switched the stimulator off, and we took it from there. And when I first put the settings in, I thought, brilliant, we've cracked it at last. And I came out of there feeling top of the world, got home, and it was agreed between me and owner that the stimulator took a couple of days for my body to accept it, and then I started getting horrendous pains in my right arm. I phoned the general hospital, the RVI up, and it was decided I'd go back in on the Saturday and have the stimulator turned down because of the pain. I thought that would have done the trick. Come home on the Saturday, I was actually lying in bed crying, and then me upper muscle tore in my arm, which was very, very painful. And then I was back to square one. It was decided that the leads weren't in deep enough, and Mr. Jenkins said that I'd have to come back in and he would take them a couple of millimetres deeper and see if that would help any. Got that operation done. It did help a bit, but not to the point where I think I can take my medication right down. I think the main thing is about medication. I mean, I had times in hospital where the staff, I know that under pressure, were coming in late when my medication was due, or they didn't know exactly what medication I had to take at that time. That's one of the things. They've got to understand there's different modes to Parkinson's, where they could be coming in one day a happy-go-lucky person, the following day might be as grumpy as anything. They think, "Bye, he's not changed." But they've got to understand that as well, about the way people are feeling. I mean, as I say, I've had brilliant support from my family, and I'm not at this stage where I've got to have people coming in. Maybe in time I might have to, which will affect me dignity. But as I say, you've just got to be positive, think positive all the time. Don't let things get on top of you. And if you do feel as though things are getting on top of you, sit down and talk to people. Having everybody around you, the support that you get off people, that's the main thing, because Parkinson's is an individual disease to people. I mean, I might have some symptoms that somebody else with Parkinson's doesn't have. And I think it's good when you can go and sit and talk to people about it, which we've done. That's why I joined the educator role, because I think expressing yourself and telling people about it who then understand what the disease is all about. What I worry about the most is, I think, is me inability to move around and walk freely. That's the thing that'll get us in time. But hopefully the DBS thing can sort it out. As I say, I was fit as a fiddle. I run every day, and I think how come this has affected me. But to look at the draw, that's life, as I say. You've got to think positive all the time, which I try to do, and just try to get by day as best you can. Because I think if you sit there and feel sorry for yourself, things could be a lot worse than what they are. I mean, I know it's not going to get any better. Parkinson's gets worse. DBS doesn't cure Parkinson's. And you've just got to, as I say, carry on the best you can.